It's kind of like a random video, but I want to talk about a few things. I saw this video on Instagram where they were like, who do you think's the biggest loser? The people who peaked in high school who are losers now, or the people that still talk about how the people who peaked in high school are losers now? And then he was like, well, both people are losers. Someone's coming in. I'm on my job. I might pause. Recurring thing in the videos, by the way. And people need to realize most people aren't going to like be famous and shit. I'm kind of going off verbatim of what this video is so far, but I'll get more into it as we go on. I want to talk about other things, but yeah, um, I'll be back with another part soon. My hair's a bit messy, I noticed, but it's all right. Cons of having curly hair. I haven't slept in a minute because I got a clopen. But back to the point. This really all has to do with envy, jealousy, stuff like that. Secret desire, um, defending their own pride, all of that. It's really telling. But this isn't to do a whole bash psychology course on those people. It's not to say that those popular kids didn't have their own flaws, like they weren't super prideful, like they weren't super arrogant and stuff. But that's also not to say that people wouldn't do the exact same thing if they were put in that position, or that they didn't secretly desire it, especially when they admit to desiring it, but then say that they were conned into doing so by the people who were in the place to begin with. And like, it's not like you choose the place you're in. People claim pretty privilege, but people don't choose to be born ugly or pretty. If you're born pretty, you're taking advantage of, but you're not given anything if you're ugly. See, those are things people don't get unless you think of how everything is kind of balanced out in those ways. Everything in the world has a balance of pros and cons like that. I'm not saying that's God's plan or anything. That's literally just how things work. And I wouldn't say it's God's plan. I think God's plan is to help fix things like that are inherent. But enough of the religious talk. I know some people aren't into that, but you can apply it the way you do it anyways. But as I was saying, I'll pause if I'm trying to collect my thoughts. People need to put themselves in other people's shoes. I mean, people hate a lot, talk a lot of shit. Not saying I don't. But like, if that's your whole, if that's like what you do for like 20% of your life, like most of it, especially to people. Like, I can understand the anarchists who spend like a lot of their life literally like protesting shitty systems, or Christians who are like super against sin. They're against sin, like concepts and governments and stuff. That's different. But like, just roasting the fuck out of people, just criticizing people for whatever you can, or just any living thing, but mainly people. It mostly happens to people. You don't see people roasting penguins nearly as much as you see people roasting people. But back on track, people love to hate on other people. Too much. Maybe a little bit, but even then, it's like not even, because we gotta step in each other's shoes, literally, to put it more simply. You hear that a lot. It goes over everyone's head. Walk a mile in someone's shoes. They're like, okay, you won't walk a mile in someone's shoes if you are dedicated enough to hating them, though. You completely forget that phrase. The phrase is there so you do that, because that's the hardest thing to do. It's not so you can walk a mile in someone that you like's shoes. That's easy, because you can easily just project like that, and then you can project on the people you don't like and paint them so uncharitably. It's like everyone does things for a reason, okay? Genetic, social, combination of all. You can't say that people are not doing things for a reason. That is pretty much out of their control. You can't really judge anyone. You really can't. You haven't walked in their shoes, but you judge them. But you really don't know. You aren't them, so you don't know. You would do the same thing as them if you were them. But most people cannot comprehend this. And I used to think it was like crazy people kind of couldn't comprehend this. But I know why. It's because even the simplest things like this, to me personally, can be hard for others to digest if they're clouded by misinterpretations so much in life that it literally hurts them in deep ways where their brain has developed around these sinful ideas. Not like to say they're doing something wrong, but they've been harmed by these ideas, put in them from a young age. Their brain has literally developed heavily around the ideas of judgment of others and not stepping in other people's shoes, not empathizing. And so a transformative idea like this, they're going to misinterpret it based on how their brain's already developed. And they're going to start judging. And it's super painful, super hard to get out of that. Because I've been through it. You start to hate yourself. And once you start not really fucking with hating yourself, you start to understand how maybe other people don't fuck with you hating them. And that was just me personally. Other people might not think like that. But because I've hear a lot of people like, oh, that's self-centered to say because that's how you got to that point. Because this is not verbatim, but like this is a point of discussion somewhat, if you can entertain that. But it is a thing that occurs in my life. I've seen it, heard it in discussions with others, so I'm not just pulling out my ass. It's like, you haven't walked in my shoes, but you can go and say I'm a narcissist or self-centered. But then, like, okay, how does someone become self-centered? Is it because they're focused deeply on protecting themselves because they're scared? But people wouldn't consider that. Because maybe they're scared. If they consider that, they might go crazy because their brain structure is so deeply revolved around something else. And so they reject it and fold the idea into a form where they can digest it easier. And usually that's by contorting it into something in their own head, which they can comfortably disprove it. They can comfortably disprove walking in other person's shoes and empathizing, etc. And this happens to everyone. I'm not going to go make a list of people that do this and roast them for it, because that goes against the entire point of this video. Because I've done that. The only reason I'm saying it with this clarity, in my opinion, I might have like a weird way of talking, so it's hard to understand, because I watch my videos. It's a little bit hard. I'm trying to get into this vocal thing more. But no, it's hard. It's hard to walk in other people's shoes. It really is. But we need strong people to come and start saying shit to help people understand, to get better, to undo these things. And I notice a lot of unhealthy things on stuff like TikTok, Instagram Reels and shit, where people are like, because I'm not gonna lie, it's gotten better. I'll go days without looking at my phone and doing shit, but I still got depression because I'm still getting into doing things for the people I care about. It's hard when you're in like somewhat poverty, getting out of poverty in my case, because I'm no longer in poverty, but I'm not rich or wealthy. But it's like, and sorry for all the tangents, but it's like, so I'm going through a lot of stuff at the same time, so I had to look at the video to see what I was talking about. ADHD is crazy. But let's have a few benchmarks for myself, but I'm not editing the video yet because I'm not at that point in my career. So people need to step in, hard to step in other people's shoes. And I've seen videos on TikTok, good and bad, about the concept, not about the concept, about people judging others and stuff like that. So it's like, I'll go for the TikTok, Instagram Reels thing first. YouTube Shorts, maybe. YouTube Shorts is more for little kids. But like a lot of people, like it's a lot of delusion, a lot of assumptions, where people will post some like an opinion that's clearly toxic, clearly wrong, clearly misguided. It'll get a lot of likes, and it'll confuse me. Because I'm like, someone's coming in, I think. Nope. But it'll confuse me, because I'm like, I wish I could provide examples, but I can maybe think of one. It's like, how do you think that up? How do you, like I saw someone who who was posting something like, girls do this and boys do that, and they're like assuming that's always how it is, and that's just how it is, and you have to deal with it. And it's like, no, I don't relate to that. My girlfriend doesn't. In fact, I shared it with a few friends. Like, do you relate to this? No. I don't know where they got that from. How many likes it got? See, it's like, imagine 1 million people saw a video. 200,000 of them related. The other ones were like, this makes no fucking sense. And so it gets 200,000 likes, but 1 million different people saw it, and 800,000 thought it made no sense, but I got 200,000 likes. So all of a sudden, someone gets a lot of likes on a video saying some bullshit that literally is just like an assumption, not true. And now them and the people that are liking it are like, okay. That's why I think we gotta go in the comments and be like, this is literally just like not fucking true. We gotta ratio these motherfuckers, because this shit is like, people be saying shit. People just be saying shit, you know? And like, yeah, some of it's judgment, a lot of it's judgmental. Some of it is just like dumb. Some of it's like, so, like acting like it's wise, like it's like a universal truth. But a universal truth type thing would be like, all is one. But motherfuckers would be like, girls will laugh at a trumpet, but boys will be serious. Like, bitch, that is not fucking universal. But then I'll get like 200,000 likes. It happens consistently. You might be wondering why I'm so passionate about something as unimportant as this. But it's really a sign of the times. You, like, think about it a little deeper. Like, for me, like, just entertain the idea that this is somehow remotely important. Because I believe it is. This is literally culture through memes and people's mindsets being shifted by the illusion of something being universal when it's not, because they do not understand the way that algorithms work. Their brain immediately just programs the reward system, and they feel safer and more secure in their own head based on the foundations they built on the things that they learned as children and stuff. It racks up. Delusions rack up. That's why you find it harder for these people to learn things, because it hurts them. You find them being a lot more confusingly judgmental to the point where it almost makes no sense, and they're getting ratios super hard. And some of the more rational videos, comment sections, you find stuff like that, and it's like, I understand why it's so hard. I do. It's because people grow up and they find security in these beliefs, because people are literally in survival mode. And then all of a sudden, when they're having more free will, when they can like express their opinions and see others without their parents yelling at them or anything, they're confused. They're confused. They have children, their children don't like them. They're confused. You know? Shit cycles. Motherfuckers get confused in different ways, from different ways, continuously. And people don't think about that when they judge others. They don't think about stuff like that. And at this point, I'm not even talking about like the people that are already having the issues where they think shit for survival mode, and so they're delusional and they find it hard to get help. Even the people in the communities where they're learning healthy things or helping others still carry judgment and are starting to roast the fuck out of these people who are like dumb and stuff. And it's like, we gotta set like one thing straight, okay? You would have been like them if you walked in their shoes. They act the way they do for a reason. They are not evil. They are doing what they think is right. It is hard for people to become better people because they grew up and learned things they did and speak the way they do as a reflection of the survival mode they were in as children and teenagers and young adults, etc., or however long they had to be in that mode, even if they still are. And people don't get that. People don't get that. People who have maybe less flaws than others will ignore their flaws and compounds on their flaws to the point where they're just as bad as others. Even if they have 3 flaws, their flaws are like level 99 now because they're so fucking arrogant. And then like the people they're judging have like maybe a bunch of level 10 or 20 flaws because they have gotten this idea in their head that they're better than others because they have less of the flaws. And so now they're over here like, okay, I'm financially stable. I can help my family. I get a lot of women. Whatever the fuck, I'm good at something. All of a sudden it's like, I fucked your bitch. You don't know how to take care of your family. You can't raise your kids. You're broke. My chain's shinier than yours. You don't got the shit that I got. Hella. How is that helpful? It's not. You know what that does? Even if someone succeeds based on that, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna do the exact same thing that you were doing. And how would you like it if you saw somebody just doing what you were doing, but you're seeing them do it, and it's not you doing it? Because I can imagine some people will be like, hell yeah, if they're like deep enough, they'll think it's cool. And then other people, maybe if there's some part of them still there with a conscience that can speak somewhat, they're gonna be like, wow, I don't like what I see. This is a reflection of myself. I need to change. Like, you know what I mean. You get the metaphor, okay? Even if it wasn't super elegantly spoken. Yeah, but I try to be. That's why I said that. Let's not get too deep into that rabbit hole. We really could though, but no one would understand it. I have ADHD. I'm getting a phone call, but y'all are getting the point so far, I hope. I'll be right back. But I just want y'all to, I'm cutting back in because of the phone call, but I thought of this. I want y'all to notice something. How I'm not mentioning people, how I'm not giving examples using certain people. I'm calling out groups of community that I can like put labels on, like in mass, that have these similarities that can be categorized in these ways. Like, because I'm not trying to judge people individually. I'm trying to bring light onto this issue. I'm trying to bring light on the fact, I'm trying to bring light on the importance of walking in other people's shoes metaphor. And I'm trying not to get too extreme with this because I realize that it's not a very popular method to help people understand things. But I really could get extreme. My beliefs in this can be pretty extreme. But I want to like baby step this, right? But essentially what I'm saying is like, people will always do something for a reason. And that reason they're doing bad things is usually because of fear. If someone wants a lot of money and they're really greedy, quote unquote, maybe it's because they feel deprived and they're scared that in a subconscious way they're not receiving enough nutrients to survive and become the thing which would make them have the will to live. And naturally their body has probably already adapted somewhat to being like anti-suicidal, because we all want to live and reproduce type thing. So it's like, if you're digging what I'm saying, minus the reproduction part, if you're not like into all that, it's like people want to have a will to live so they can not kill themselves. And I hope YouTube doesn't take me down. I think it's only demonetization. I don't really care. People want to have reasons to live, or people, at least at the bare minimum, sometimes just want to not feel like shit while they're alive. A mix of both, or one or the other. Maybe they're overworked. Maybe they feel fine, but they're not working enough. Maybe whatever. You know, we get the nuance. We get the nuance. I'm sure a lot of y'all guys know what nuance is. Some people don't. And I'm not gonna call them dumb for that. Like, sorry, but people making definite ideas in their head is a way people cope. And so I can't judge. I really can't, because I used to do the same shit and I still do sometimes. You gotta catch yourself, okay? If you're like up here, you gotta start catching yourself and realizing you do dumb shit too. How you heal is self-forgiveness and shit. Some people don't even know how to do that. And you gonna judge them and shit? Like, you gotta feel bad. No, you don't gotta feel bad, because feeling bad, people confuse that with judging others and pretending to have empathy. No, like, really feeling bad. Really empathizing. Like, thinking like, man, like, how can I help people like this? Like, I want to understand how this person feels and, like, what this is coming from. Like, how can I be there for someone? Like, how can I pray for them? All this stuff. Like, but no, people want to be like, oh, I feel so bad for poor Jimmy. Oh, he acts up so much. Oh, he's such a delinquent. He's so hard to be around. It's like, that's judgment disguised as empathy. Shit like that, no. Okay, I'm gonna cut that out and clarify what I mean, because I know this video is about the very thing I'm clarifying beforehand. Walking in other people's shoes, you have to understand these things before you do that. How to correctly walk in other people's shoes is what I'm saying. If I'm stumbling over my words a bit. Again, still getting used to this talking freestyle type thing. So I hope that can be understood. And I'm gonna leave it at, I don't know if I'll leave it at, but I might, because I say that in a lot of videos and I don't. People who judge, you don't judge judgers, because you're a judger. I'm a judger. The people that are judged are judgers, and you should stop judging. So don't judge the judger, and the judger should not judge you. Okay, so this isn't me judging them. Okay, let's get on to the meaning of judgments and rehabilitation as an ideal. Judgment is like, this person is this, that's bad, prison, punishment. Does that help anything? I don't know about you, but when me personally, and then I'll reference other people, how they react. Getting spankings as getting detention. I went to detention like 100 times in 4th grade, but they kept sending me to it. That didn't help. When I got spanked and shit, it just made me mad. Just made me want to get revenge on my parents when I was a kid. I'm just being real with y'all. I'm an adult now. I don't feel the same way. Like, some of y'all motherfuckers might be judging. But see, a lot of y'all, the reason you judge is because you develop fear. And the way that you coped with it is saying, oh, that's just how you developed respect for your parents. And your parents did that because that's the way you raise a kid. Because they have to be decent. You see where I'm going? So now you're afraid of self-expression, I might say. You're afraid to act in ways that are improper. See, it's different. Same thing, different reaction. But people act in ways for reasons. And to get into another layer of nuance to this that might not have been seen, people have different personalities and can live the same life as different people. The exact same life, let's say, everything is the same, but the only thing that's different is that instead of being Jimmy, you're Johnny. You react completely different to the exact same things, but it's for a reason and your personality. You think that Jimmy, who's neurodivergent, is going to react to the exact same things the same way as Johnny, who is not neurodivergent, as an example. I'm not trying to do a neurodivergent thing. I'm just an example. Like, no, obviously not. And so that's another layer of nuance that we have to apply. Now, it's very complicated, but it comes down to the very, not easy, but the very simple doesn't mean easy, very simple first step of understanding, taking steps to understand. Do not judge. Don't. And you're going to, I know. But I'm not gonna be like, if you judge, you're a dick. See, I'm not doing that. I'm saying you're going to judge, but don't judge. I'm saying take steps to correct yourself, think about it, contemplate it, slowly be a better person. You're going to make mistakes. It's inevitable. You're not going to not make mistakes. In fact, you're going to judge yourself for judging others, and you're going to judge yourself to the point where you don't judge others because you're too busy judging yourself. That is still judging. Don't judge yourself either. I know how this mind shit works. You're not going to get it in the first lap. You can be 80 years old before you figure this shit out. You might have to live another life if you're into Buddhism and shit. Whatever. But trying to be a good person is enough. Being the person that steps up, enough. Don't be afraid to speak your mind. You're not going to end the world. If you're wrong, then like if somebody disagrees, somebody ratios you, somebody like has a good comeback and now you're a little embarrassed, like live for it. Live to be a better person. It's not gonna be painless. It's not like I haven't been ratioed or I have someone like make a good point when I was arguing with them. I was like, damn, I'm wrong. Like, yes, I have. Like, it might happen in this video. Maybe I said some bullshit. Someone in the comments be like, that's bullshit. I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, live for it. Like, I'd say, I'm gonna leave the video at that for real. Like at the end of the day, you're gonna keep living. You're gonna keep doing you, but I meditate on this shit. Think about this shit. Try to be, not try, but like work on being a better person. Because trying means you can stop trying. Keep at it. Keep at it. And that's it. Love you guys. Peace out. And yeah, share and like, comment, subscribe, all that. Hit the bell. Maybe hit the bell. I don't really give a fuck, to be honest. But yeah, peace.